I want to turn our attention in this video to the Reverend Samuel Parris and note what Miller says about him in his commentary. He says there was very little good to be said about him. In history, he cut a villainous path, and he wasn't a very nice person. I'm going to show 3 clips from the Crucible and just stop and analyse where Reverend Parris is and what his main concerns in the whole film is. We first meet him kneeling at the foot of his daughter Betty, at the foot of her bed, and he's praying frantically. But what's he praying for? Is he praying for Betty, or is he praying for something else in the play? It comes out a little bit later, and I'm just going to show you a section from Act 1 of The Crucible, and we're just going to analyse what Reverend Parris's main concerns are in this scene.
We cannot lean to witchcraft for the cause of this. Don't you understand it, sir? There are hurtful, vengeful spirits laying hands on these children. Let you take hold here. Let no one charge you. Declare it yourself.
Not yet. I need time. I must think. I must pray.
Yes, I agree with Reverend Parris. Good day to you, sir.
Uncle, perhaps you ought to go down and tell the people.
What shall I tell them? That my daughter and my niece discovered dancing like heathen in the forest.
We did dance. And let me be whipped if I must be, but they are talking of witchcraft. Betty's not witched.
Were you conjuring spirits in the forest? I want the truth now.
We never conjured spirits.
Now hear me, child. You must know that there is a faction in this church sworn to drive me from my pulpit.
I know that, sir.
And they will destroy me now if my own house turns out to be the center of some obscene practice.
You'll have noticed from that scene there that Reverend Parris makes it very clear that there is a faction which is sworn to drive him from his pulpit in this town. He's paranoid about the fact that people want to get him out of his pulpit. He says, I have many enemies. Don't you understand that I have enemies, Abigail? So his main concern is not to have witchcraft found in his house. He says, just think about what would happen if witchcraft was found in my house. It's kind of like if you think about a pastor in a church or a vicar having an affair, that kind of scandal at that time. If witchcraft was found in the house of the local reverend, then his reputation would be shot and would be done for. So in Act 1, he doesn't want the witch trials to go ahead. He doesn't want witchcraft to be found, and he starts to dumb it down. Now when you get into Act 3, it's the next time we see Reverend Parris. John Proctor and John Hale talk about Parris in Act 2, and John reveals how much he doesn't like him. But when you get into Act 3, you see a different side of Parris. What's he doing in this clip?
Excellency, beware that man. We have evidence for the court. The girls are frauds. Mary Warren has come back to tell the truth.
Who is this man?
Giles Corey, and a more contentious...
I don't have to answer.
Mary Warren, we were told you were sick. What are you about here?
She has been striving with her soul, Mr. Parris. She would speak with His Excellency.
Beware this man. This man is set and bound to destroy my ministry.
Cyril, I think you must hear this
We
charge.
must do nothing but what justice bids us do, Mr. Hale.
Did you notice, previously in Act 1, Samuel Parris had been saying, do not declare witchcraft, this will be bad for my reputation, we must not find witchcraft in this house, it's absolutely out of the question. Where is he now? He's on the side of the court, okay? He's on the side of the court, and he's saying, you know, we must have these witch trials. Beware this man when Giles Corey and John Proctor come in. And he's on the judge's side. Isn't that interesting? That he's changed his mind. What does that tell us about the character of Samuel Parris? We're given even more information in Act 4 when at the end he tries to get John Proctor to confess. Watch what he says to Judge Danforth.
Vanish!
She's run off with £31.
I am penniless.
Mr. Parris, you are a brainless man.
Excellency, hear me, I beg you. Let us postpone more hangings for a time. Now these 3 that must die this morning, John Proctor, Rebecca Nurse, Martha Corey, they have great weight yet in the town. Now if them stand upon the scaffold and send up some innocent prayer, then they will wake a vengeance on you.
What did he say to Judge Danforth? He was concerned about the fact that a dagger had fallen to the ground. Somebody had thrown a dagger at his door and then it had fallen to the ground. He was fearing for his own life, and he asks Danforth to postpone the hangings. Who is Reverend Parris most concerned about in this play? Is it Betty at the beginning? Is he concerned about godliness? Is he concerned, or is he only concerned for himself and his own reputation in the town? We get a good picture of this in Act 1 when he says the line, "I am not a preaching farmer with some book under my arm. I am a graduate of Harvard College." He obviously thinks quite a lot about himself. So there's just a little analysis of the Reverend Samuel Parris.